Last time, we seen King Cold continue to improve and expand his empire, mainly by working together with Bulma and then working together with the Galactic Patrol. It has been 7 years since Cell was defeated by King Cold, and as of right now, we open on Gohan on his way to school. On his way, he still becomes a Super Saiyan and stops the robbery that was taking place. I think he would still meet Videl, though she would still be popular, just not as much as usual, as her father didn't seemingly save the Earth in this timeline. He was only the world champion of the last tournament, so besides that, Hercule isn't as well known either. When Gohan first arrives at the school, they initially think he was the Golden Warrior, but it is quickly dismissed since he isn't blonde. Videl still becomes suspicious of him throughout the day, but when she tries to follow him, he still gets away by hopping on top of a building and using the Flying Nimbus to fly off. He would then go to Capsule Corporation, still asking for Bulma to make him the suit. However, Vegeta doesn't berate him this time. Since Goku was alive, Gohan wouldn't have fell behind on his training in the past 7 years, so there's no reason for Vegeta to berate him for this. Regardless, Gohan still goes and stops the people that are driving recklessly right afterwards. The next day, people were already talking about the Great Saiyaman, but Videl still gets called out of class because of an ongoing robbery. However, Gohan still takes after her, and after transforming into the Great Saiyaman, he helps stop the robbers. But after they are stopped, Videl still tricks him into revealing his identity by asking how he snuck out of class. On the way back, she blackmails Gohan, which in exchange for not revealing his identity, he has to enter the next tournament and teach her how to fly. Gohan then goes to Capsule Corporation to get an outfit he can wear in the tournament. While there, Vegeta says he'll join the tournament as well, with Trunks agreeing to join too. Gohan will then go home and passes on to Goku and Goten, which they both would want to join as well. Gohan then goes on to tell Krillin, Android 18, and Piccolo, while Bulma tells Yamcha, but they don't know where Tien is. Meanwhile, Goku would have contacted King Cold and Bonyu, asking them to come participate, which I think King Cold could find the time, since the tournament only lasts for a day. The next day, Gohan and Goten would start to train together, which is when Goten reveals he can go Super Saiyan, though he still finds out Goten can't fly, but this is when Videl shows up, so Gohan still warns him to hide his strength and not turn Super Saiyan. When the training starts and Gohan mentions Ki, this still confuses Videl, so Gohan must start with the basics, as he must show her how to access her Ki first. Regardless, while he continues to train Videl, Goku went up to King Kai's planet to get some last minute training in. Back with Videl, she learns how to float while Goten learns how to fly. She goes to leave and says she'll be back tomorrow, which is when Gohan still gives her the advice to cut her hair short so it doesn't get in the way of her fighting. The next day, while Vegeta was training with Trunks, he also finds out that his son can turn into a Super Saiyan. Anyway, in the next 10 days of training, Videl learns how to fly freely, while everyone else continued training for the tournament, though the only one that didn't train for it was Hercule, as he was cocky that he could win. After King Cold arrives on the Earth, all the heroes head to the tournament together in Bulma's airplane. However, since there wasn't a Cell Games to be broadcasted, they don't have to worry about people having seen them turn Super Saiyan, so they don't have to make the self-imposed limitation about going Super Saiyan. But I still think they would agree to put this limitation in place so that they could all fight on equal terms. Once they arrive, Hercule is still boasting about his strength, while Piccolo asks Gohan if he is really going to fight dressed like the Great Saiyaman. Anyway, they all register for the tournament, with Gohan registering as the Great Saiyaman, while Trunks and Goten get disappointed that they must fight in the youth division. As the reporters try to question some of the heroes, Piccolo still gets annoyed and destroys the cameras. Then, when the tournament announcer sees Goku and the others, he is happy to see all of them. This time, since King Cold and Bonyu are there are 196 fighters in the preliminaries instead. Though, when Hercule comes out to boast, Piccolo destroys the cameras again, claiming that it's so Gohan's friends won't find out his secret identity if anything happens and his identity is revealed. While they wait for the main tournament, they all go to watch the youth division, since they have nothing else to do. Hercule still tries to come out and show off, but he ends up falling, though he tries to play it off as him joking. The preliminaries would go the same as usual, with both Goten and Trunks ending up in the finals against each other. Also, as usual, Trunks still ends up being the one to win this match, since he is slightly stronger than Goten. Though, when he goes up against Hercule, he still knocks him out of the ring, with the audience thinking Hercule got knocked out of it on purpose. For the main tournament, Piccolo still ended up giving his name as Ma Jr., to not cause a panic when people hear the name Piccolo. However, there's something to mention here, since King Cold and Bonyu are here, two of the original fighters can't make it to the finals, which, it's hard to say which two wouldn't make it, so I flipped a coin to decide. It came up with Mighty Mask and Jewel losing in the preliminaries to Cold and Bonyu. Because of this, Goten and Trunks can't steal Mighty Mask's outfit, so they aren't in the main tournament. Shin would still come over and introduce himself to Goku, though he would also talk with Cold, saying he was glad to see someone like him turned over a new leaf. This confuses the Monarch, but before he can question them about it, they are called to go draw lots for the main tournament. So, after all the lots are drawn, the matches end up like this. Match 1, Krillin vs Pintar. Match 2, Shin vs Ma Jr. Match 3, Videl vs Spopovich. Match 4, Kibito vs Great Saiyaman. Match 5, number 18 vs Hercule. Match 6, Goku vs Vegeta. Match 7, King Cold vs Kila. And Match 8, Yamu vs Bonyu. Krillin wins his match against Pintar easily, with him knocking him out of the bounce effortlessly. When Piccolo goes to face Shin in the next match, he questions to himself who this is, and Shin reads his mind to respond that he'll find out soon enough, which this still leads to Piccolo forfeiting his match, with Shin thinking Piccolo must have recognized him. Regardless, while Videl and Spopovich get in the ring, the other fighters from the previous tournament still comment that he has changed a lot. Meanwhile, Piccolo confronts Shin and asks if he's the Grand Kai, but Kibito reveals he's the Supreme Kai, which I think King Cold would have been with Piccolo when he asked this, because he was curious who this was as well. So, when he hears about the Kais, he asks Piccolo to explain who they are, as he never heard much about the Kais before. Anyway, Videl was seemingly winning her fight at first, but she eventually started to be beat down. After she is defeated and thrown out of the ring, Goku teleports to get sensu beans from Korin, which when he returns he gives one to Gohan to give to Videl. Also something to point out, with the sped up growing process Cold's men helped to discover, they would have more sensu beans than just the 3 they did in the main story. Anyway, the match between Gohan and Kibito starts, though Erasa and Sharpener still find out Gohan's identity, so he ditches the disguise. Anyway, Kibito still has Gohan go Super Saiyan, while Shin tells the others to stay behind no matter what happens, which is when Piccolo explains who he is. Regardless, Shin holds Gohan still so that they can follow through on their plan of having Yamu and Spopovich absorb his energy. Everyone then leaves to follow them and Shin, while Kibito stays behind to heal Gohan. On the way there, Shin tells him about Babidi and Majin Buu, which is when King Cold explains what he knows about Buu. He doesn't know a lot, but there was a warning passed down through his family that they shouldn't mess with Majin Buu. We don't officially know why his family was scared of Buu, but for the sake of this timeline, I'm going to say one of his ancestors, the strongest at his time, was killed effortlessly by Buu. So, from then on, any descendant of that ancestor told them to stay away from the magical menace. Kibito, Gohan, and Videl take off too, with Kibito explaining to Gohan what Spopovich and Yamu did to him. While they are flying, Gohan advises Videl to go back, but before she leaves she asks if Gohan was the Golden Warrior, and he reveals that he was. When they eventually catch up and land with the others, they see Babidi and Dabura exit their ship. As usual, Shin explains who Dabura is, while Yamu and Spopovich give the energy they collected to Babidi. Though, Babidi still causes Spopovich to explode, then has Pui Pui kill Yamu when he tries to flee. While Babidi and Pui Pui go inside, Dabura rushes at them and kills Kibito with one blast. Krillin, Piccolo, and Bonyu are then turned to stone, while Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, and Cold go into Babidi's ship, with Shin following them. Vegeta ends up being the one to win their game of rock, paper, scissors, so he gets to fight Pui Pui, which he's getting beaten down easily. So, Babidi changes it so that they are fighting on Pui Pui's home planet, but a 10 times gravity there was nothing to Vegeta, so he easily kills Pui Pui. Next is Goku vs Yakon, which starts the same without him being able to see. He starts off with turning into a Super Saiyan, which is when he finds out Yakon can absorb light. So, once he does it again, he turns into a Super Saiyan 2 to cause it to explode by absorbing too much energy. Dabura is the next one to appear, which Gohan steps up to take him on. Meanwhile, back at the tournament, the only fighters left were number 18, Hercule, and Kila. Since there are only 3 left, Hercule proposes that number 18 and Kila must fight, and then the winner would face him, which, this match is easy for number 18, as she knocks Kila out of the ring with one hit. Also, during this time, Goten and Trunks would get bored of watching this tournament, so they fly off. Though, they eventually meet up with Videl, who explains everything to them, which they find is cool, so they take off towards the heroes. Back with number 18 and Hercule, they both enter the ring, and as number 18 grabs him, she offers to lose if he pays her 20 million zeni. However, he doesn't have that much money in this timeline. Since he didn't save the world, he wasn't able to milk as much money from people. So, when he says this, number 18 easily picks him up and throws him out of the ring, which makes her the champion of the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament. Back with Gohan and Dabura, he would be doing far better in this timeline since he never stopped training. Though, Vegeta still gets annoyed that this is taking a while, but when Goku tries to talk to him, he snaps at him saying he was just there because he wanted to fight Goku in the tournament. Deborah then flees when he gets an idea, which is when he tells Babidi that Vegeta has a wicked soul. Now, Cold would likely have a sliver of a wicked soul left, which Deborah probably would have noticed, but it would have been harder to draw out than Vegeta's. Also, even though Goku was alive in this timeline, I think he would still willingly be controlled. Not only did Goku run away from their fight, but Vegeta still would have been holding on to the grudge of Goku sparing the ex-tyrant and Cold beating him all those years ago. After he's completely controlled and becomes Majin Vegeta, Babidi teleports him, Goku, and Cold to the tournament arena. Vegeta ends up destroying the stands, killing the audience, then challenges both Goku and Cold to fight him. Vegeta still mentions his problems with both, as he says that Kakarot is too soft-hearted to be a true Saiyan, and he was sick of being surpassed by him. Then as for Cold, he says that he is sick of him acting all good and that he hates him for everything he has done to his race. Though, Shin still tries to stand in the way, but backs down when Goku seemingly goes to blast him. Shin then returns to the ship to help Gohan, since he was still facing Babidi and Deborah. Back to fight with Cold, Goku, and Majin Vegeta, Goku goes Super Saiyan 2, which causes Vegeta to do the same, while Cold transforms into his 5th form. The two start the fight with Vegeta, which they are easily beating him down. However, something to mention is if Goku would still have unlocked Super Saiyan 3 or not, which I think he would have. Even though he was alive in this timeline, he still would have trained intensely in Otherworld. Also, he would have trained with Cold and Vegeta, which could have helped him get to that higher level. Vegeta would have known about it this time though, and would have tried to get the form himself. However, he would have got close to obtaining it, but wouldn't have achieved it yet. As for Cold, he wouldn't have let himself fall behind and would have strived for a new form too. Though, since he still dealt with his empire in his free time, he wouldn't have had much time to use this form, so it likely has a stamina drain issue too. Regardless, with the anger of being surpassed by both Cold and Goku, and with Babidi's control drawing out his potential and power, he transforms into his Super Saiyan 3 for the first time. In response to this, Goku would transform into his Super Saiyan 3 form as well. As for Cold, I'm basing his 6th form on the one in the fan manga Dragon Ball Multiverse. His body starts to get taller with his head becoming elongated like Frieza's 3rd form, though he also becomes more monstrous in appearance, with more spikes appearing on his body, along with him sprouting his 2nd pair of arms. Since this is a completely fan-made form, it's up to guessing how strong it is, but for the sake of this timeline I will put it at the power level of his Super Saiyan 3, which, with both Cold and Goku teaming up against Vegeta in these forms, the Saiyan Prince doesn't stand a chance. From their fighting, however, is what have caused Majin Buu's sealed ball to open even faster. After all, it has the power of 3 Super Saiyan 3 level fighters, instead of 2 Super Saiyan 2 level fighters giving it power. Before it opens, Gohan tries to blast it with his full power, with it having seemingly worked, since when the ball opened, nothing appeared at first. However, they were wrong, as a smoke cloud above them formed itself into Majin Buu. So, the magical menace was awake once again, which Goku, Cold, and Vegeta would have noticed right away.